Friday Hoops Fest coming up next. It's the San Antonio Spurs going up against the Miami Heat. And now we send you out to Kevin Harlan and the rest of the 2K crew. I'll see you at the half.
Coming to you live on 2K Sports, this is the NBA. Hi, everyone. Kevin Harlan alongside my broadcast partner, Steve Kerr and Clark Kellogg. It's great to have you with us. Our starting lineups, a look at the matchups here and who we'll see for our starting five for both teams. First for the Spurs, Parker and Danny Green are your 1 and your 2. And in the middle, out of Brazil, taken with the 28th pick back in 2008, the 6'11" pivot man, Thiago Splitter. Then there's Kawhi Leonard, and it's Duncan in at the 4. And for Miami, Chalmers and D-Wade are the guards. And playing at the 5, the always versatile 6'11" star big man, able to score inside and out, Chris Bosh. And it's LeBron James, and it's Haslam in at the 4 spot.
Well, when you have the best record in the league, you're going to be the most dominant, one of the most dominant teams at home. The Heat just destroyed people down in Miami, and only the Denver Nuggets had more wins at home than the Heat did.
And how crazy is that from the Heat to win as many games as they did last season, but still be second in the league in home wins? Still, we're far and away number 1 at home in the East.
Well, yeah, the Knicks were the closest team in the East, but they still had 6 fewer wins at home than Miami. But the Heat really just did what they had to do to put themselves in position to go on to their second NBA title in a row.
That's a 2 from Parker. No good. And it's Miami the other way. And here we go. Fast break. Wade's got it. Bosh kicks to Wade. And finished off by LeBron.
You know, guys, I would call that methodical but explosive. You know, he waits for the opportunity and then boom, right to the right.
Well, it's an almost impossible task guarding him. He's just so strong and quick. LeBron is like a locomotive bearing down. You see why teams have to give hard fouls to stop him, because a little bit of contact just is not going to be enough to stop him.
Hey, Steve, a lot of contact isn't enough to stop the freight train LeBron James. I mean, he draws so much attention defensively, but what makes him special is how he can punish a defense for overcommitting, because I think his greatest attribute amongst all of his great attributes is his passing ability.
What a play. The hoop plus the harm.
Excellent concentration on the finish. That's big time. The Spurs have always been very mindful of resting key players during the regular season. Some of it has to do with the age of their players. Some of it is regarding talent, because they knew they were a playoff team most years. And you look at the research, there is something to be said for not playing guys when they're fatigued, because injuries are more likely if you play tired.
Now, here's Chalmers. LeBron outside. Now the pass to Bosh. Good, and the assist goes to LeBron. Bosh has got his first points of the game. And back to the Spurs and their strategy of resting their star players, not without some controversy. The NBA, as you may recall, fined the Spurs and Coach Popovich for sitting all their starting players for a nationally televised game back in November.
Well, it was their 4th game in 5 nights, and Pop wanted to rest some of their guys because of just the nature of their schedule. But I think the problem was he didn't give the league advance warning. And that game against Miami, when he rested those 3 players, he actually sent them home. And I think that was a little shot at the league. And that's why there was a problem, and that's why the Spurs and Popovich ended up getting fined.
The Spurs have gone just 1 of 4 to get this game started. Green against Wade. Parker right side. Pass to Leonard. There's the dish to Splitter. 6 on the shot clock. Here's Parker. It's hauled in by Dwayne Wade.
Wade seems to be slowing down just a touch, and the difficulty as you get older, when you're not a great jump shooter, which Wade is not, is that the defenses will back off you, and that's the big challenge now for Dwayne Wade, adjusting to that newer style of defense that he's going to be looking at.
Clark, they've been looking out of sync offensively.
You know what? A basket here would do a lot for their confidence.
Feeds it to Splitter. If you're just tuning in, we played about 2.5 minutes here in the first. No good with the layup. And Steve, you go back to the strong output for Dwayne Wade last season for the 4th time. In his career, he averaged over 20 points and 5 rebounds and 5 assists a game. Clark, one of only 4 players in the league last season to hit that mark.
And Kevin, he led all shooting guards and player efficiency rating for the 5th consecutive season. Some might argue, but the numbers speak truth. He's the best shooting guard in the game.
Parker dishes to Duncan. And in this first quarter, about 3 minutes played. Trying to find Green. He's got it now. Shot to end this cold run. And he lays it straight in.
You know, when he gets the ball that close to the basket, it's almost an automatic 2 points.
Well, the defense has to battle him down there and keep him out of position in the first place. Do your work early.
Now here's LeBron. He has 6. Chalmers. Back to LeBron. He dishes it to Bosch. Splitter's there. The jump hook. That one wide left. Spurs trail by 4. Earlier, Doris Burke spoke with head coach Eric Spoelstra. And what'd you find out, Doris?
I asked him what they needed to key in on defensively, and he said, well, we've got to limit penetration by Tony Parker. He's really the, quote, head of the snake, and with his floater, he doesn't need to get all the way to the rim to score. It's crucial that we do our best to keep him outside the lane. Guys, that's no easy assignment. We'll see how much success they have defensively.
Thank you, Doris.
And what an amazing run it was for the Spurs last year in the postseason. Swept the Lakers, survived Golden State, and then dismantled Memphis on their way to the NBA Finals. And then, of course, were seconds away from another championship banner.
Oh, and a fast break for the Heat. Chalmers with it. He's picked up by Parker. T-Wade on the wing. He's been patient so far. Nothing yet on the scoreboard. Misses from close range. Well, getting back to the Spurs, they look better and better as they went deeper into the playoffs, Clark. Heat were thought to be the heavy favorites at the start of the NBA postseason. But when they met in the finals, thoughts on who would win, I think, were pretty much split.
Yeah, and eventually, you know, this was one heck of a series because the Spurs not only had experience and talent, but they had multiple options offensively and did such a terrific job sharing the ball. They took the Miami Heat to the limit, but at the end of the day, it came down to LeBron James and Dwayne Wade rising to the challenge.
And Miami calls their first time out of the game. So San Antonio going with an almost entirely new group here. Matt Bonner, he's checked in for Splitter. DL comes in for Tim Duncan. Manu Ginobili's checked in for Kawhi Leonard. And it's Bellinelli in for Daniel Green. .114 left in the first quarter. Allen drives in. Anderson passes to LeBron. That's good. LeBron's got 8.
Impeccable mechanics this quarter. He's been perfect from the field.
He feeds it to Ginobili. Back to Parker. LeBron against Ginobili. Kicks it to Diaw. Clock at 6. Bellinelli. Pass to Parker. And there's the whistle, fouled hard on the shot. He'll go to the line.
Tony Parker had a phenomenal 2011-2012 campaign, but as is the case with Greg Popovich, he challenged Parker to improve upon that for last season. Popovich told him, good players can be great for a little bit, but great players are always great. And that really resonated with Parker.
First free throw is good. When you think about how great Parker has been, we forgot his career almost came to an end in the summer of 2012. This is a very interesting part in his career.
That's right. He was an innocent bystander at a club in New York when a melee erupted and bottles were thrown. He got a shard of glass that penetrated almost through his left eye. Very easily could have lost his vision and lost his career.
The Heat with the lead. Here's Cole. Allen outside. Pulls up. Not enough on that one as it misses. The Spurs shooting a lowly 30% to start this game out. Parker, right side. Now Bellinelli. Bellinelli off the pick from bottom. Now here's Ginobili. He kicks to Bellinelli. Lets it fly. And no good trying to get that one. So at the end of 1 quarter of play, still a close game. Heat lead by 2. Back after this from the American Airlines Arena.
Ladies and gentlemen.
And we welcome you back to more NBA action. Players looking hydrated and plenty of Gatorade to help them get their job done tonight. And when you consider how the Heat are doing, Stephen Clark, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, the defense has been terrific. They came out right from the beginning, alert and focused. And they've been really good at that end of the floor.
And I think Coach has to be pleased with the effort, Steve.
So it's Miami now.
You know, when something works for you, you stay with it. The Heat saw after the 2012 finals that small ball was very effective for them. You can see why they chose to do that, given how hard it is to find a power forward that can match up with LeBron. Makes good sense.
And let's catch up with our sideline reporter, Doris Burke. Doris, over to you.
Gentlemen, there is no doubt that Tim Duncan is one of the all-time great NBA big men, but his celebrity has never matched his talent. His guarded personality may have something to do with that. Duncan said, quote, "I'm not an extrovert. People try to be bigger than the game, to make themselves an individual brand. I'm not that guy. I love playing basketball, and that's what I want to do. I don't need the extra stuff." Guys, knowledge of self, so important.
Sure is. Thanks, Doris. And mismatches really are what make an NBA offense go at times. Not only can Miami overpower you, Steve, you know, with their sheer talent at times, but if you're trying to guard a perimeter play with a big, you're going to be in trouble.
Well, some people still see small ball as a gimmick, but, you know, for Miami, it's different because you've got LeBron James playing the power forward. So it's not really small ball. He can rebound, he can defend, he can do everything. And so the Heat become a nightmare to guard at the other end, and you can rarely take advantage of them offensively.
Now here's Parker after LeBron James's miss. It's Parker with the drive. Ginobili kicks to Parker. Bellinelli. They set the screen. The timely screen gave him a step, and he took it all the way.
That's just a case of two teammates working perfectly together. One setting the screen and the other using it to get that separation.
Coach Popovich was fined last season for sitting out his top players in a nationally televised matchup against the Heat. I certainly understand the league's posture there, and it was a lot said about it. Yet, for a veteran team like the Spurs with championship aspirations, I understand resting key players during the course of the regular season.
4 on the shot clock. Here's Allen. And a foul called on the shot. Got him on the way up that time, so he'll shoot 2 right here. And back to that fine for Popovich, $250,000. Steve, that'll leave a dent.
Yeah, no doubt. But, you know, Popovich enjoys tweaking the league at times. This was clearly an effort to do that. But, Look, I think it's good for him to actually, kind of let the league know every once in a while that if you're going to give us that kind of schedule with my older team, I'm going to sit them down once in a while.
That free throw good from Allen.
Well, what a series it was in the finals a year ago. Such great basketball. Two teams that like to play up tempo. And I'll tell you, the Spurs had Miami. They had the series in the bag. They were one play away from wrapping it up in Game 6, but the miracle comeback from the Heat that led to the Game 7 victory and another title for the Miami Heat.
And Allen drops them both. Clark, it was interesting because the games themselves weren't particularly close through the first half of the series, but things started to get really tight when they left San Antonio after Game 5.
How about that, Kevin? You talk about things tightening up. We had a game for the ages in Game 6. 28.6 seconds to go. The Spurs +5. Miami needed a miracle, and they found it in the form of timely three-point shooting and got some help from the San Antonio Spurs missing some free throws.
The Game 6 was about as intense an NBA game as you'll ever see.
Oh, it was off the chart. Absolutely fantastic.
And here comes Bellinelli leading the fast break. The feather touch on the finger roll. Beautiful. Bellinelli's got his second bucket of the game to go. The Heat have gone 1 of 3 to start out the second quarter. Second quarter of play with almost 3 minutes gone. LeBron kicks to Bosh. Splitters there. Shot from 6. And good. And it takes a nice bounce off the right iron and down. And the Heat lead by 4. The Spurs have gone 2 of 5 from the field here in the second quarter, shooting 40%. Parker with it. He has 6. Otto Ginobili on the wing. Launches a 3, and it's good on the assist by Parker. Ginobili's got himself going with the triple, his first basket of the game. The Heat shooting has been terrific, 54% on the game.
You know, you survey other point guards in the league and ask them who their toughest assignment is, and a lot of them will tell you it's Tony Parker. I mean, his ability to weave in and out at the speed he does just drives would-be defenders mad over the course of 4 quarters. Parker is always in attack mode.
Let's go now to the sideline and catch up with Doris Burke. Hey, Doris.
Well, gentlemen, head coach Eric Spoelstra of the Miami Heat finally getting the respect he deserves now with their multiple championships. But his players, not afraid to rib him a little. Dwayne Wade said Spoelstra's favorite word, focus. He said, here's what it sounds like to play for my coach. Come on, guys, we have to focus. Next game. Come on, guys, it's about focus. Game 82. Guys, it's about focus. Kevin, it's all about that consistent message, right?
A steady hand, Doris. The players seem to really appreciate it. And Clark, you mentioned the penetration ability of Tony Parker. He really has become the focal point of the Spurs drive and kick offense, Steve. So fun to watch.
Yeah, you talk about his speed and quickness, but it's really all about the overall skill level, the ability to finish it in the lane, the knockdown jump shooting, the free throw shooting also improved. But it's incredible how well-rounded Parker has become.
Is he the fastest point guard, you think, in the NBA?
I would say yes.
And the Heat making a change here. Wade's checked in. That one falls, so he hits both of them.
Well, for LeBron James, guys, the stats say it all. He's always a beast. But when you play him at the power forward position, his numbers take on a whole nother level of excellence.
There's the feed to Ginobili. Dishes it to Parker. And Allen with the block.
More often than not today, those shots have not dropped for him.
Here's Cole. He's covered by Leonard. And it's Cole missing. Spurs trail by 3. And here's Leonard. Still getting warmed up offensively. No buckets yet in the game for him. Ginobili against LeBron. Leonard kicks to Ginobili. Spurs working the ball around now. And it's slammed in by Splitter. Stupendous rush to the rim and a mighty slam on the end of it.
But through the teeth of some pretty soft D, I can't help but say that.
Well, let's see how that impacts things here, because those kinds of plays sometimes can be game changers on both sides.
And Clark, you mentioned LeBron playing at the 4 being a tough matchup for teams. Steve, why is that?
Well, we've seen the same thing with Carmelo Anthony, a guy who's playing at the 4 who has great size and strength, but also ball handling ability. It compromises the defense, particularly when you put shooters around him.
Ginobili dishes to Duncan. Goes back up, and it's good on the way in.
If you battle for the offensive rebound and come up with it, you're guaranteed a high-quality shot on a follow, just like he got there.
Here's Wade. Bosch, a screen on Duncan. Passes it around. He passes to Wade. Wade, right side. The 15-footer. San Antonio with the rebound. Leonard's got 3 rebounds so far in the game. Now Ginobili. 40 seconds left here in the second. Ray Allen grabs the board.
Poor shooting from him this quarter. His shooting percentage nowhere near where he'd like it to be.
Wade passes to Cole. Bosch. Allen outside. The shot and game clock separated by 4. Wade kicks to Bosch. That falls. Nice feed that time from Dwayne Wade. 6 points for Chris Bosch.
It is so hard to contain him. He just seems to get it done however he has to do it.
Here's Parker. Second quarter ends in a tight one. Heat out front, leading by a point. And coming up after the break, it'll be Damon Bruce breaking down all the highlights from the first half of play.
Now, presented by Sprint. Welcome to the halftime report with a close contest going on out at American Airlines Arena. The Heat in a tight one against the San Antonio Spurs. Their advantage in free throw percentage has given them a significant edge. The leading scorer, LeBron James. No secret he can carry the team with his offense. And San Antonio also bringing it. And give them credit defensively. They're boxing out, controlling their defensive backboards. Tony Parker's dishing it out, and the other team is taking it. He's got 6 points and is putting out the effort defensively as well, making his presence felt on both ends of the floor. And that's all there is to it. Thanks so much for spending halftime with me. Now it's time to send you back out at the start of the third quarter.
The Sprint Halftime Report, presented by Sprint.
A look here at the fast-growing downtown of Miami, Florida, as we return to action.
Guys, you go back to the shortened season a year before last, and the Spurs were the best team on the road. But last year, they weren't nearly as dominant on the road. Still solid when leaving San Antonio, but far from the level they played at a couple of seasons ago.
The Heat with the lead. Now here's LeBron.